Recovery from addiction is a journey, not a destination, and that journey is easier to navigate when we have help. And I'm joined again today by Tim McLeod, NCRC Level 2, and Robert LaChapelle, also NCRC Level 2. And they're here today to tell us about their journey after recovery and share words of wisdom and encouragement for those who are just beginning their journey. This is Let's Talk Mind, Body, Spirit by Sierra Tucson. Sierra Tucson ranked #1 Best Addiction Treatment Centers 2020 in Arizona by Newsweek. I'm Scott Webb. So, gentlemen, it's great to have you back on today. Today we're talking about recovery after treatment, and we're going to get you guys talking to each other a little bit today. But as we get things rolling here, Robert, just want to have your unique perspective. What has life been like? What has your recovery been like after treatment?
It's been a lot better than I thought it was going to be coming into treatment, I'll tell you that. I had a lot of fear of the unknown. What was I putting myself into? And the things I learned, the tools I learned, life has never been better, actually. I'm so grateful for having to go through that process because it just improves every aspect of one's life. It has in mine. Yeah, I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I get to work in the field. All due to go into treatment and living life in recovery. I never thought also that I'd ever laugh so much. That was one of my biggest fears. Oh, no, I'm not going to have a sense of humor. I don't know where I got that from, but yeah, loving to laugh. I'm the authentic Robert, and yeah, it just feels great. Feels great. What do you think, Tim? What's your take on that?
Well, I love what you said, Robert, about the authentic Robert, because I believe that's what came out. Well, I know that's what came out for me through the transformation of, accepting that I've got a challenge and a struggle that I need to work on. I need to take some time out of my whatever routine it was that I had, before recovery, before treatment, and spend some time working on me. And that's what arrived through that 30 days in treatment, and then, continuing on with the therapy and support groups, was that crack in that shell that started to let a little bit of light in, and my authentic self started to emerge even more. And so really, really grateful for the recovery journey. But the gift that I received when I went into treatment was that I'm not terminally unique. I had thoughts that nobody had the same issues that I did. And to be able to sit there and listen to other people share their stories and know that I wasn't alone was quite an impactful experience.
Yeah, you reminded me, I can totally relate because I would see myself in so many of the stories that other residents were sharing. And it's like, whoa, that's me. Hey, that's me. So yeah, I agree with you. First, I felt unique. How is anybody going to be able to help me? Because I'm Robert, I'm unique. But when you boil it all down, the issues were the same, the struggles were the same. So yeah, I forgot about that, Tim, and I agree with you.
And Robert, the other thing that kind of comes up with that is that I heard other people's stories was like, thank you, God, I didn't have to deal with that, And so you had some empathy. Empathy started coming out for others and the challenges that they faced.
And I remember the last time that we spoke, one of my takeaways from our conversation was the gratitude in your voices and how you both really seemed to feel like this was meant to be, that what you had gone through, your addictions and your recovery, that it was really meant to be, and that you wouldn't be where you are today had you not been through all of that. Is that fair to say?
100%. It's interesting. It's like, wow, I have my addictions to thank for putting me where I am now. I appreciate my past, and I use it as fuel to move myself forward and to stay in recovery. That's for sure. What do you think, Tim?
Yes, and to think that that all those challenges or defects of character or whatever you want to call them that I was struggling with, is that they've turned into assets. They've helped me be able to deal with life on life's terms better. It's given me a job, and whoever would have thought that. I didn't grow up as a kid, well, you want to be a truck driver, you want to, drive the fire truck and all that, and to say that I want to work at a treatment center. But the thing is, through all those things that I dealt with growing up and then pausing and to work on them really gave me the gifts of being able to do what I do today in my job. And so to think that I get paid to carry the message of hope and healing and support for others.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And when we think about both the two of you being successful in long-term recovery and where you found yourselves, as you say, when they were talking to you in high school about what you might want to do with the rest of your life, working with folks in recovery was probably not on the list, right? So you're here, right? You made it here, and other folks make it out of recovery, and they have long-term sustained success. So what do you think helps them? What helped you, and what helps them to really make that recovery possible?
I think it's applying wellness and recovery to all aspects of their life, of someone's life and my life. That means that I am choosing to respond to life on life's terms versus reacting to it. And I need to interject all those things that got me here on a daily basis. And that's, connecting with others and spending time with my higher power and not isolating, finding ways to connect with others. I'm reminded all the time that it's not about the big things that I do, the big changes, going to a retreat, which can be important and all that, or it's trying this or this or this. It's just marginal gains. It's those little things that I do that help sustain me every day by eating healthy, by moving my body, and again, meditation and just those pauses that I put in place throughout the day that are so important for me to get through the day are what, allows me to look into the mirror and go, wow, you know what? You're a pretty good guy, Tim.
You're a pretty good guy, Tim.
You are too, Robert.
Yeah, I relate to everything that you said, Tim. I started to feel like $1 million, like a human being. Once I didn't have anything in my bloodstream altering my thoughts, and what I thought was happiness and joy. I was way off on those thoughts, becoming clean and sober, and I just started feeling like $1 million. I'd get up and actually do chores, and I had energy. I wanted to be active. And that was pretty profound for me. And I remember just thinking, wow. So I got up, I put, clothes in the washing machine. I went out and walked 2 miles. I came back, put my clothes in the dryer, went up and had breakfast. I come back and it's like it dawned on me. It's like, wow, I did chores this morning, and it's not even 7 a.m. Typically, I'd wake up at 11 a.m. with a hangover. So just the feeling of being a human being again was so powerful for me. It really got my attention. I'm all right. I think there might be something with this recovery. I totally bought into, I don't need drugs or alcohol to feel good. Yeah, that's what sold me.
And so true that going to bed at night and putting my head on the pillow and going, wow, I made it through another day. And just be mesmerized how that actually happened. Because I would go to bed prior to recovery going, all right, I'm going to change tomorrow. Okay, it's a new day tomorrow. I'm not going to do those behaviors. And I might make it to 10 a.m. And to think that I went, virtually 24 hours and to put my head on the pillow and again, have not acted out the way I'd been before recovery, again, was a miracle. It was just a real miracle.
One of the things listening to you guys and listening to your amazing, stories and perspectives on these things is really just appreciation of the small things, the little things that maybe, again, before you went in for treatment, everything was maybe just kind of a blur a little bit, and you just didn't even really see or take the time to appreciate all the little things in life that really matter. And I can just hear how much all these things matter to you guys now. Like you say, Robert, just getting up and like, hey, I did laundry. I'm doing stuff. I'm living life, right?
There goes Robert doing another load of laundry as the sun's coming up. That's right.
I'm assuming you guys have heard many success stories over the years, and I'm just wondering if there's any that really stand out to you that you could share.
The ones that really stick out to me are those that I see myself in a similar pattern going into treatment with a set of values, going through treatment, looking inward, doing the work, making that 180, and now has a different outlook, is totally ingrained in their recovery. They're active. And the next thing you know, they want to get into the recovery field in some fashion. And to me, it gives me goosebumps. It's like, right on. I did something similar like that. Those are the ones that really hit me right in the heart. To see someone make the 180 transition with the miracles they experienced. Yeah, I love those. Tim, which stories come to your mind, man?
I like what you said. The ones that remind ourselves of where we've been and how far we've come. But the one that I'm thinking of that could be me saying this as well was that somebody shared with me that, I was slowly but surely falling into a depression due to the isolation of COVID. I started attending online meetings, and the support I've felt from them has been amazing. I have a tribe of people that I know are safe when I'm having a great day and safe when I'm not. And I can really relate to that. Around March of 2020, man, just really challenged myself and with the isolation and working out of a home office, and just the opportunity to connect, with people online, and then listening and watching other people that continue to show up for the meetings and being open, honest, and willing about what's going on for them in their lives, and seeing that support. And you could see the change in their faces. And it was great. It was great for me and for others. And it still is while we're still in this challenging time.
Yeah, I'm sure that all of this is challenging enough for folks, right? Recognizing that they need help to enter treatment, to sort of tackle long-term recovery, and then you add into this a global pandemic, unlike anything that any of us have ever lived through. There's some real complications for people, I'm sure.
Yeah, we all have now new tools we can use, new coping mechanisms. I can only imagine what my life would have been like without recovery, going through COVID and isolation and so little socializing.
I really concur with what you shared. And, I look back and, when I went through treatment, and I was given a degree in self-care. And I could apply it to life or I could apply it not. And all that degree came with all kinds of tools. And I really feel for all the people out there that might not have had all those tools and this experience to lean on during this time, because knowing that I needed to reach out for support immediately, knowing that I had to lean on the professionals that I work with. When I started stepping up, for example, going to therapy once a week, it was no brainer that if I was going to continue to sustain a place in recovery, I needed to stay well within the herd, and not just skipping around it and dabbling in it. I needed to be right in the middle.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice to just go to treatment for a few weeks and then, all right, I did 30 days here, I'm cured. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. If only, so yeah, gaining those tools, yeah, what a blessing. Very fortunate, very fortunate. We're lucky enough to have gone through treatment.
And you guys both mentioned having the tools, right? So when we talk about folks leaving or preparing to leave residential care, what would you like to tell them about making sure that they've got all the tools that they need and really what they should be planning for? Maybe start with you, Robert.
Well, I like to share with folks, have a continuing care plan. It's so important to remain active. Once you leave treatment, set some goals, obtainable goals. Identify some of the triggers you're going to be facing when you get home. Some of the challenges. Relapse prevention is important. What are some options instead of being involved with where your triggers are? How can you circumvent that with some relapse prevention tips? Stay engaged with others, like Tim was saying, just be immersed. It's important to stay active in one's recovery. Tim, let me ask you a question, sir. Do you know of anybody that's been successful in the recovery by doing absolutely nothing?
No, not at all. Not at all. I have found that no one stands alone. They need to have a connection with others. And I'm reminded of what has worked for me, but what I, suggest for others is, you got a daily schedule when you are in treatment. And so you eat at a certain time and you're doing different recovery or therapies during the time when you're there, is to try to manipulate that schedule back at home. Keep the same time of eating, pausing at different times of the day for self-care, whatever that looks like to you. And remember that because you went to treatment and you're returning, no one's changed around you. It's only you that has changed, whether you're back in the family system or it's in the workplace. It's up to me to make my recovery a priority. The opportunity to respond to life versus reacting to it is such a gift. To look at things and instead of things that come our way, it's just a real struggle, is to really encourage people to say, hey, just think of it as an opportunity. Maybe there's a reason behind why you're having to deal with this now. And Robert, you talked about the triggers. And it's like, while you're in treatment, share them all, talk about them all, because the things that you think that, oh, that's not going to come up again, or I'm not going to have to deal with that when I'm outside of treatment, or outside of that safe container, they will arise. They will come up. And because what we're not willing to face is going to face us straight on. So I think you can concur, Robert, on that. Yeah.
Yeah, keeping one's, recovery and healing as a top priority is crucial. And one thing that really struck me, I went to my first AA meeting at treatment, and I don't remember what the guy said for 55 minutes, except one thing. If you want what we have, do what we do. And that, I've never forgotten that. It's so simple, and it's like, yeah, there's steps to a healthier, happier you, but you have to work it. Recovery's a priority. Everything else seems to fall into place.
Yeah, that seems to be a common thread, and maybe a great place to end today is, it has to be a priority, and you got to do the work, and you both definitely have, and it's really great to speak with you again, and I have a feeling we'll do that again sometime in the future. So thanks again. You both stay well.
Hey, you do the same. Look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you so much, Scott. Appreciate it.
Call 800-842-4487 or go to SierraTucson.com for more information. Sierra Tucson, where change begins. And if you found this podcast helpful, please share it on your social channels and be sure to check out the full podcast library for additional topics of interest. This is Let's Talk Mind, Body, Spirit from Sierra Tucson. I'm Scott Webb. Stay well.